Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Queen Anne's County Commissioners meeting. This is a public meeting that is being aired live on our local cable television station, QACTV 7. These media broadcasts provide county citizens an opportunity to watch and review our scheduled public meetings. In addition to our live audience this evening, we are providing remote options for citizens to watch and participate in county commissioner meetings. Citizens may watch our meeting live on our website at qac.org/live or on our public access governmental television channel provided by Breezeline Cable Services. Citizens may also participate by joining the live Zoom meeting by going to qac.org/public comment, and citizens may also email comments to publiccomment@qac.org. All comments received will be summarized during the press and public comment period on tonight's agenda. We acknowledge everyone's participation, and by attending, you acknowledge that this session is both recorded and aired. Press and public comment will be taken and is limited to 3 minutes per person. If you do care to speak, please sign up at the information table at in our lobby. Comments longer than 3 minutes can be submitted in writing for the Commissioner's review. We will now stand and be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commission President Chris Corcorino.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Commissioners, first we have the approval of our agenda for today's meeting, December 9th. So that's been submitted along with the regular session minutes, the Roads Board minutes, and the closed session minutes from our last meeting on November 18th. That's all been circulated for your review. Any additions or corrections?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add one additional action item for tonight's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda as amended and all the minutes as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Okay, so we just held a closed session under the General Provisions Article, Section 3305B1 for boards, commissions, and personnel, Section 3305B to discuss land acquisition, Sections 3305B8 for potential litigation, and Sections 3305B7 to consult with counsel. So we do have, I believe, some board appointments to make, and bear with us, we have a few of these to go through.
Yes, we do.
I move to appoint Jim Moran as President of the Board of County Commissioners for the term of January 1st, 2026 to December 31st of 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move to appoint Jack Wilson as Vice President of the Board of County Commissioners for the term of January 1st, 2026 to December 31st of 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to reappoint Patrick Thompson, Esquire, for the position of County Attorney for the term of January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Go ahead with the boards.
Sure, if you want.
Okay, so now we're going to roll through these boards. The first one's the Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board. I move to reappoint William Kimbles to fill the vacancy on the Agricultural Preservation Advisory Board. This term will expire on June 30th, 2030. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next one is Animal Control Commission. I move to reappoint Tom Gannon to fill out the vacancy on the Animal Control Commission. This term will expire December 31st, 2030. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next one will be the Board of Appeals Building. I move to appoint, let's see here, Nicholas Edwards as the alternate, and, wait a minute, Lenny Giacomo, oh, I can't even pronounce that one.
Laura Wolf.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Laura Wolf to fill the vacancies on the Board of Building Appeals. These terms will expire on December 31st, 2028. Sorry, I had the wrong one marked. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Here's one I was thinking of. Board of Appeals Zoning. I move to reappoint Michael Lesnowski and Barry Waterman as members of the Board of Appeals Zoning. These terms will expire on December 31st, 2028, and this is with Mr. Waterman being the alternate at this time.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the Economic Development Commission. I move to reappoint Patricia Fox, Heather Backer, Todd Wilhoit.
No.
No. Kelsey Carbone, Lee Bridgman, and Ryan Snow.
There you go.
To fill the vacancies on the Economic Development Commission. These terms will expire December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
There we go. Moving on to the Kent Narrows Development Foundation, I move to reappoint Jason Ruth, Jody Schultz, Jeffrey Smith, and William Ortell to the Kent Narrows Development Foundation. These terms will expire on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Personnel Board, I move to reappoint Jane Veriz, excuse me for that one, to this term that will expire on June 30th, 2029.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Plumbing and HVAC Board, I move to reappoint Zeke Warner and Robert Perdot to the Plumbing and HV Board. These terms will expire on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Spending Affordability Committee, I move to reappoint Joe Zimmerman to the Spending and Affordability Committee. This term will expire, or excuse me, will begin March 1st, 2025 and expire on February 28th, 2027.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Travel and Tourism Advisory Committee, I move to appoint Kimberly Hannon and Kirby Schultz to fill the vacancies on the Travel and Tourism Advisory Committee. These terms will expire on March 31st, 2028.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
That's it.
opposed? All right. That's why we're in closed so long, folks. That's a lot of committees to go through.
committees, that's right.
And we want to thank those folks for stepping up and
Absolutely.
agreeing to.
And everybody else who wasn't selected who put their name in, we appreciate it very much.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Okay, if you want to turn to tab number 7, we have 2 pieces of legislation for this evening. Press and public
Press public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, getting ahead of myself here. So next, we have press and public comment. So thank you for taking the time to express your views to the county commissioners. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments longer than 3 minutes can be submitted in writing. This commission respects your desire and right to convey your message freely. When you come forward, please speak clearly at the standing microphone, state your name, address, and topic of interest. And in keeping with the dignity of our office, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner.
Sherry Adam.
You have somebody on the list.
Sorry. Thank you, gentlemen, for
can
hearing
pull
me.
it down
Good
if you
evening.
want.
Can I bring it
Down
down?
there. There
Okay,
you go.
good. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here to talk to you about the traffic in Queen Anne's County, especially on Bruceburg Road. We just had a truck run into our house on Friday night. Our daughter had a school bus cream her car 3 years ago that we're still trying to recoup from the insurance companies and government agencies and such. She can't work more than 4 hours a week. But basically what I'm asking you to do is to help us find a way to make that road safer. There have been so many accidents. Our son was in one just after we moved here. And when we got there, the car was just no straight metal. The top was off of it. He was gone, didn't even know where he was. They pronounced him dead at the high school. And it's just accident after accident, and so much is going on. We see so much, and we have no one to turn to other than you to help us make it safer for everybody. At this point, I don't know what else to do. I'm worried about my neighbors.
What's your address on Roseburg?
It's 1636 Ruthsburg Road.
Okay, and where is that?
It's the intersection of 481 and
Right there on the corner
304.
where- The blind corner?
You got it, the blind corner. Everybody in this county knows
Todd,
about that
We
road.
get something to state over there, that is a bad corner. I've seen cars in the field all the way, hundreds of feet in the field there. That's a horrible corner.
Yep.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And what portion is the state road?
It's all state road. It's
all state
481 crossing 304. They're both
Okay.
state roads where they cross
Right there at the old
So,
store.
Yeah, it's right there, yep, yeah.
At the old Reedsburg store.
Even though it's a state road, because it's in the county, can you help us?
We can work with the state, but it's a state road. They would have to make any changes to it, but we can certainly
Apply
push the
pressure.
issue to apply pressure to get something done with it.
Our daughter couldn't make it with us tonight, but the poor thing, I mean, she feels like she's lost her car that she paid so, tried to pay for, and she's lost her career, and she's lost her quality of life, and now she might lose her house. We don't know if the house is going to be fixed or if it's going to be condemned or what. So I ask for your help in any way you can, please.
Will do.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for your
Can you leave us your
time.
number and
I'm
your
sorry?
phone? Can you leave us your phone number before we get
Yes,
out of here
the
tonight?
phone number is 410-758
Okay,
8307.
got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. David Adam.
She pretty much said everything I was going to say. But, when we first moved there back in 2000, 2 weeks after we got there, there was a head-on collision, a Chevy Nova and an S10. The guy in the Chevy Nova, I had to go open the door and try to help him. It's just something you never forget seeing, and it hasn't stopped. I heard a commotion outside the house. I opened the door. There's a car headed straight for me, right? He had dropped it in the ditch. It flipped over midair, came back down on its wheels. The guy jumped out of the car. Car kept rolling, coming for me. It swerved, took out my sign, went across the street and hit the cars. This is like a war zone. Okay, and recently, 481. I was going over to Walmart. Fuel truck, big fuel truck when they're harvesting. He came down through there really fast. Right past Tuckahoe, there's a big ditch right there. And for some reason, he came into my lane 2 feet, forced me into the ditch. I mean, this is just, it just happened. And now the house. It's continual. I've almost been killed 3 times. That truck that hit my house, I was 5 feet away. The car that hit in front of my house, I was 20 feet away. The car that almost hit me when I opened the door. You can't live there. You just can't. And now every time I get up in the morning, I'm looking at this. Every time my daughter looks at it, we see it. We are not getting any help. Disability, long time. The insurance companies stall. I'm at the end of my rope here. I really am, and it's because of the road. Even Gary, the sheriff, he pulled somebody over. Okay, he gets hit by a dump truck on his cruiser. This was years ago. Nothing has changed since that time. It's gotten worse. I go over to wanted carpet for the house. Go there. First corner we come to, guy comes across the line by a foot. Go over to the highway. We're going 50 miles, it's 55 there. We're doing 63. Everybody's shoom. They're doing 90. Why? It says 55 on the sign. How come? I don't understand. With the lines, they don't pay attention to lines anymore. They don't use their turn signals. Serious problem. Also, the police officer told me at the accident, this is the 3rd car through a structure this week. There's a serious problem.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Adams. We will definitely be in touch with SHA about this, and we'll follow up with you. Barb.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name's Barb Pivick, and I'm here on behalf of the Queen Anne's County Historical Society to share a tremendous progress that we've made in advancing our mission to preserve, interpret, and share the history of Queen Anne's County with our community and future generations. This has been one of the most active, visible, productive years in our recent history. As of today, we've had more than 500 people visit Wright's Chance and Tucker House, and they're not just from Centerville. They're from across the area, Queen Anne's, Talbot, Caroline, Kent, Dorchester, Anne Arundel counties, as well as visitors from across the state. Our reach has truly become regional, and our historic houses are increasingly recognized as cultural and heritage destinations for the wider Eastern Shore. Our reach has expanded dramatically as we have strengthened our consistent participation with the county's Heritage Tourism Department, aligning our broader cultural and tourism goals together, actively engaged in the Queen Anne's County Historic Sites Consortium, jointly elevating historic resources across the county, participating in the county's Cultural Heritage Center revisioning and planning process, and advocating for meaningful interpretation and community access. Supported the county heritage initiatives, including the U.S. Colored Troops Statue Project and the Samuel Turbot Memorial with Mary Margaret Goodwin Reville. We were happy to help secure the nationally recognized author, Patrick O'Donnell, for the keynote speaker. Our public programming has also expanded significantly. This year, the Historical Society curated and built the Maryland 250 exhibit, Astonishing Portraits, Untold Stories, The World of Thomas L. McKinney, opened through January 22nd of 2026. This original exhibition has brought new audiences and statewide recognition to Queen Anne's County. We hosted first Saturday openings, school programs, lectures, private group tours. Guests have included Winter Tour, Maryland Humanities, and the statewide Maryland 250 Commission. And we are preparing the tour to tour the exhibit to additional sites here in the state of Maryland as a Queen Anne's County exhibit. We are also invested deeply in preservation. At Wright's Chance, we completed major projects including our chimney stabilization and a drainage and our gathering room. We're working, as you know, on our roof replacement for 2026. Tucker House has just, we restored the outdoor dormers. We've restored all the signage on the front of the house, and we're very excited to say this has been a banner year. And we invite you to the exhibit, and we thank you for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. All right, anybody online? Anybody else for press and public comment? All right, we'll close it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Commissioners, now we can turn to tab 7, if you like. Tab number 7, under Legislative, we have 2 items. The first item is County Ordinance number 25-12. This is for growth allocation for non-adjacency alternative standards. And the intent of this text amendment, which was submitted by the Gunston School, is to amend the existing growth allocation standards within the Chesapeake Bay Critical Area to allow for award of growth allocation within the RCA district, non-adjacent to existing LDA or intensely developed areas for the expansion of nonprofit institutional uses that provide secondary educational or youth camps that have existed as of June 29th, 1988. So if you like, this can be introduced. We also need conceptual approval by the commissioners and then conveyance to the Critical Area Commission.
I'll introduce it.
And we need
And
a
all those
motion
other things.
for conceptual approval.
And motion for conceptual approval, I think we need to. Second. You second my motion?
Yes.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? There we go, we're good.
Okay, all right, so do we know when that'll be scheduled? Oh, that'll go to Critical Care Commission, then come back, so then we'll schedule the hearing. So I know there's representatives here from Gunston, and so, I think we're good.
Headmaster want to say anything, or you're good?
Just very grateful for the opportunity to introduce this.
It's a great institution, so happy to help.
All right, great. Item number 2 is County Ordinance Number 2514, Muddy Creek Waterways Improvement District. This is a bill to create the Muddy Creek Waterway Improvement District to authorize a maximum expenditure of $600,000 and levy a special benefit assessment against the properties in the district to repay sums borrowed and expended thereon, and to provide for the collection thereof. And this is for introduction and to schedule a public hearing. This essentially is a special benefit assessment for a dredging project in Muddy Creek.
I'll introduce it.
All right, Commissioner Corcorino, all right. All right, that's all we have for legislation this evening, so we can move to presentations. So that would be tab number 6. So we have representatives here from RK&K. We have Jeff Roberta, Anthony DeBan. Come on up, gentlemen. Steve Cahoon is also here, our public facilities planner. And this is the presentation for the pedestrian bridge over US 50, a summary of the 2 final options. And this is the concluding presentation for the options to connect the Cross Island Trail and South Island Trail. And then upon conclusion today, if the board wishes, they can make a recommendation and selection of the preferred option, and then we will be able to continue with design efforts and pursue additional funding programs. So this was a project that was funded through the BMC, and these gentlemen have been working with staff, and we've had a few public information meetings, doing a great job. So this is kind of the final presentation of the option. So gentlemen, Jeff, take it away, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the microphone's on, but good evening. Thank you for having us. Again, I'm Jeff Roberta. This is Anthony DeBan. We're both with RK&K, and as Todd mentioned, we've been working very closely with him and Steve and staff on this study. I know many of you have gotten up to speed through previous meetings and the public meeting that we had in October. So we're here tonight to give an update on the overview of the study and the additional activities that we've been taking on over the last couple of months. The presentation's over here. I will go through it. We did leave time here for questions or comments at the end, but of course, feel free to stop us at any point in time if you'd like any more information. So briefly, briefly in an agenda, we'll give a quick overview again of the study and of the options that we're looking at in more detail, along with some more information about the additional work that's been done over the last several weeks.
That was fast. I almost didn't even hear that.
And you're all done.
Very much. No.
It's Bruce's fault.
I'm probably hitting the wrong buttons, but hopefully it'll work from now on. So a reminder, this is a study, an overview map of this study. The purpose of this study, again, was to connect the Cross Island Trail and the South Island Trail, looking at overpasses of US 50 and 301. We evaluated 4 options. They're shown in 4 different colors here, all of them in between the Bay Bridge and Cox Creek. So the option furthest west in purple is option 1, and that would be an overpass to the immediate west of the Maryland 8 interchange. Would connect to the South Island Trail and to Terrapin Nature Park. Option 2 would be a trail along Maryland 8. Option 3 would be an overpass to the east of Maryland 8, and then option 4, shown in red, is a connection with an overpass just to the west of Cox Creek. So as we did our initial evaluations of these options and worked with staff, we had identified and then coordinated with stakeholders, which included the Maryland Transportation Authority and the State Highway Administration, as well as a lot of county stakeholders. We identified that 2 of the options, options 2 and 3, had fatal flaws. We didn't want to carry those forward. So we eliminated those from further study. We identified options 1 and 4 that will be carried forward, presented to the public, and that we would do additional analysis on. So I'll give you a little more information about those 2 options. Let's move forward. I was to say advance the slide. Yeah, okay, thank you. So, option one, again, we'll walk through this in a bit more detail. So, option one is an overpass to the west of Maryland 8. The overpass itself will be located near the inn at Chesapeake Bay Beach Club. On the northern side, it would tie into the existing trail network within Terrapin Park. On the south side, it would cross Pier 1 Road, parallel Pier 1 Road down to Maryland 8, and then cross Maryland 8, somewhere in the vicinity of Kent Manor Drive. So again, this is a direct connection from the South Island Trail into Terrapin Park. The connection to the Cross Island Trail will be through the existing trail network within the park. This would provide public access to the Chesapeake Bay through Terrapin Park, and it does connect to the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club, residential areas south of US 5301, and the Chesapeake Bay Business Park. Clearly, this of all the options is the one that's closest to the Chesapeake Bay, which is important when we consider MDTA operations and their future projects in the area. Go to the next slide, please. So option 4, again, this is a crossing of 5301 just to the west of Cox Creek. On the north side, it would connect to the Cross Island Trail at the Queen Anne's County Library, cross Main Street, go by the middle school before it crosses over 5301. On the south side, it would connect to the existing Thompson Creek shared ute path. It would go through and along the commercial areas and residential areas just to the south of 5301. There would be another bridge crossing of Thompson Creek before it tied into the South Island Trail. So those are the two options, and as we wanted to look at those in more detail. So those were presented to the stakeholders, as I mentioned.
Just a question, is that landing just like right behind the food line basically, or is that more towards the neighborhood?
Yes, it is. Okay. It's both, but it is right behind. It would go just to the south there of the food line as it goes and it crosses over Thompson Creek.
So, and I asked this, I looked at it when we had the other meeting, but if you look at these two options, option 1 is really the only one that's a true direct continuation of the trail, right? Option 4, to get to other parts of the trail, you would go, it almost hits like a T-head. You would have to go back this way to get to the Terrapin Park side of the trail, or go this way for the rest of Cross Island, right?
Yeah, it definitely, option 4 is a direct connection between the South Island and Cross Island trails, but it's not a direct connection to Terrapin Park.
Right,
There's extra
which is
distance
also
you
the
would have
trail
to
that
take.
comes back through there
That's
existing.
correct.
So that's more of a direct route to where you're connecting really the whole entire trail system from the trailhead at the park across to where the trailhead ends now on the South Island, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
much.
correct.
Okay.
All right, so that's an overview of the two options that we looked at and we view as feasible. There were some comments when we presented these options to the stakeholders and in coordination with county staff here. We wanted to look at a couple of additional elements, especially of option 1, to ensure that we were addressing some of the comments that we heard from the stakeholders. So can you go to the next slide? Okay, thank you. So one of the first comments we got about option 1 was how we would cross Maryland 8. So option 1, you do have to cross Maryland 8 at some point to tie into the South Island Trail. So the base option here was to have an at-grade crossing with some sort of signal control for users of the trail. So there was a question about whether there could be a grade-separated crossing of Maryland 8, another bridge crossing of Maryland 8, that would allow for the movements of bicycles and pedestrians to be separated from the traffic movements along Maryland 8. So we did evaluate that, and we did develop a sub-option to option 1 that would allow for an at-grade crossing, and that's what's depicted in the diagram here on the presentation, where we show another crossing of a bridge, again in the vicinity of Kent Manor Drive, that would connect the two pieces of the trail. So again, the benefit, of course, of doing this is that it does eliminate or avoid the conflict of trail users and Maryland 8 traffic. From a safety point of view, that's a positive. It would also avoid needing to implement some sort of new signal along Maryland 8 for an at-grade crossing. The negatives or the downsides of this approach is that there are utilities that run along Maryland 8, southbound Maryland 8, adjacent to the airport property, that would certainly be impacted by any major structure like this. So that would increase the cost and the construction complexity of this option.
So when you talk about the utilities,
Yes.
You're just talking about where the structure for the bridge would be, not necessarily the trail coming up to the structure.
That's right.
Okay.
And the issue is when, as depicted here, really any option you want to come up with in this area, you have to have foundations for the bridge structure itself, and you're likely going to have retaining walls to gain elevation to the bridge structure, and that needs foundations as well. So that means significant excavation below existing grade, which means impacts to those utilities that are below grade that run parallel to Maryland 8. Whereas when you're talking about an at-grade trail, the amount of disturbance is relatively limited. You don't have to do very much excavation. It's only a limited amount of paving you need to do. So utilities that are buried underground, there's less of a chance that you're going to impact those. So it's the major structures that lead the higher probability of those
And all those
impacts.
utilities are outside of that fence line, running down Route 8.
They run down the existing right-of-way,
Yeah.
state right-of-way on Route 8.
So if we just increase the distance across there and go on the other side of the fence with the bridge, we're away from the utilities.
Yeah, it's possible. We haven't done and I can't speak to you about what's on the airport property, the details of potential utilities there. There were a lot of utilities based on the information we have that are in this area. It's a congested area for utilities. Okay, so the next thing that we wanted to evaluate was comments that were provided by MDTA and SHA related to site distance along 5301. So as you know, that's a major concern for MDTA especially. There are a series of lane use control signals that are located along 5301 as you approach the Bay Bridge. Those signals are used to designate which lanes are open or closed. That's really, really vital for MDTA's bridge operations. And so we wanted to make sure, especially for option one, that a new overpass of 5301 wouldn't block drivers' view of those lane use control signals. MDTA has a policy where they like the next two signals in their sequence to be viewed by drivers for redundancy purposes. So we went back and we did a site distance analysis to ensure if there was a new overpass in this location that the existing lane use control signals would be able to be viewed from the driver's perspective. So that was a good analysis to do. We did slightly adjust the proposed profile of the overpass to ensure it was high enough so that it wasn't blocking the view of the lane use control signals. And so we view that as, this is an adjustment or design element that can be managed as you move the project forward.
So obviously, you guys considered actually putting those lane signals on the pedestrian overpass. Could you put those signals actually on the pedestrian overpass? That way they were definitely seen, or is that an option, or MDOT said no?
Generally, yeah, it's generally not an option. Any more signals, signs are not put on bridge structures. They're put on their own separate sign structure. And one of the things we wanted to avoid is having to change MDTA's existing infrastructure. They have those lane use control signals sequenced and spaced, to fit in with the rest of the signs they have, and also to kind of fit in a logical, within design parameters of where they need to put them. So we didn't want to, as part of this effort, get into the point of where we needed to modify that, because we thought that would be a complication that would be challenging to manage with MDTA.
Okay.
But the concern was just coming down the Route 8 ramp.
There were two concerns. One was the main line,
Okay.
which was so the drivers along the main line and being able to see the signs ahead. And then there was another concern of being able to, the entrance ramp to westbound 5301 from Maryland 8.
Right.
So we evaluated both.
Right.
And, our analysis is, this is an issue that can be managed, that site distance can be maintained. We would meet both AASHTO and MUTCD, so these are design parameters. We would meet those, as well as MDTA's desire, their typical approach to always be able to see multiple signs in a sequence. So it was a good exercise because it did lead to some design modifications, which we've incorporated then into this option one. So I guess the upshot of that discussion is to say, with this additional analysis, we feel that we've addressed the concerns from stakeholders in both option one and option four are feasible.
So any overpass there, is that gonna be just a clear shot? There'll be no interstitial supports in across 50, or will it be just a clear span across?
No, median.
So there'll be a support
So
stretch.
here's my question, and it's the elephant in the room with this. If they bring those bridges, the right-of-ways for the state live in that center. So you can't put any kind of thing in there that's gonna impact when those bridges, the replacements come across, because that's gonna be clear lane. It's gonna look like New Jersey Turnpike. You're gonna have one Jersey wall separating it, because that's really all they got to work with. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I'm trying to remember how the Route 8 structure is.
There's a median pier.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the corridor upgrade is the Route 8, so I
Well,
imagine that's
good luck,
gonna.
good luck with that.
Well, but I'm just saying, something's gotta give, because
Right.
that's their only right-of-way without taking on both sides.
Right. Well, they were there, and they saw what we were
Okay.
doing, and, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I can't comment on that. So we coordinated with MDTA through the process. So we understood the alternatives that they're considering as part of their Tier 2 Bay Crossing study. So we understood the various alternatives they were looking at. These concepts were developed to be able to span the widest footprint that they were evaluating.
Okay, that's kind of what I was asking, is you're gonna clear span, you're not gonna put anything.
Well, let's say the outer abutments or piers would be outside of the limits of the widening. We are anticipating a median pier here. Now, that's not inconsistent with how they do things. Even if you had a median barrier, it's very common, typical,
That would
actually,
be the
to
median
have.
barrier for the,
And you would have a pier in the median.
Okay.
And their options, I believe, maintain a median. But that wasn't, so we don't view that as being any kind of, that's not unusual or, there's not inconsistent with the alternatives they're considering. Now, when you get into, I will say, we're making assumptions here. This is early, this is a feasibility study. So when you get into more detailed design, you can look at alternatives for the structure type and whether expanding the whole distance makes sense. You just get very long. The longer you get, the larger, deeper the structure gets, the more expensive and complicated it is to construct. So we don't want to go there yet without having done the detailed analysis. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about was public feedback. So I know several of you came to the public meeting that was conducted on the 23rd of October. Again, at that point, we presented the whole study background and detailed information about the two options we're talking about here, options 1 and 4. Just to give you a bit of an update here, there were 51 attendees at the public meeting, and comments were accepted both at the public meeting and then by email through November 12th, so for a couple of weeks after the public meeting. In total, there were 171 comments that were provided. About half of those comments declared a preference for one of the options. You can see here, fairly even split between option 1 and 4 in terms of the public preference. If we look at key themes that came out of the public feedback, when you look at option 1, I think this is pretty straightforward. Obviously, this is good for recreational purposes, option 1, and being able to go through Terrapin Park and incorporate that into the trail network. There were some concerns about having to cross Maryland 8 with this option. There was also some concern raised about just being in the proximity of the Bay Bridge and potential future projects from MDTA, and are there any coordination, construction-related issues with that. We did, after the meeting, get specific written support from the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club for this option. Key themes for option 4. This was seen as having better connectivity for neighborhood resources, since you're going through residential and commercial areas on both sides of US 5301, and it connects to schools, the library, goes in through Stevensville. There was some concern about having a second bridge over Thompson Creek and environmental impacts that would come from that. And then after the meeting again, this option, there was a letter submitted by the Queen Anne's County Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, and they supported option 4.
So, digress, the Thompson, so there was a concern for what would essentially be a constructed boardwalk, like from Graysonville up to the Kent Narrows. It runs through, so I guess my question is, their concern is what, environmental?
Yeah, there were, again, this is a theme, but yeah, what are the environmental impacts that come from that? What are the permitting, or are there any complications to the project that come from another bridge crossing through what is some wetlands on either side of it? So I would say, just as an aside, That's true, that there would be some environmental impact from a crossing there. It's not unusual for any kind of project to have that. The mitigation is relatively straightforward, and certainly there's permitting that goes along with that. But again, that's standard for a project like this.
But it's already been done once.
Yes. So that's public feedback. The last piece of the update we wanted to give you was preliminary cost estimates. Here, what you'll see is we prepared 3 cost estimates. 2 for option 1, when we're calling option 1 and option 1A. Option 1 is the at-grade crossing of Maryland 8. Option 1A is the grade-separated crossing of Maryland 8, so the second bridge. And then option 4. So we're presenting a range here. Not surprisingly, the lowest cost is option 1. It's the shortest amount of improvement, and it only has 1 structure crossing there at 5301. Option 1A is the highest cost because it is 2 large structures, and option 4 is in the middle. So we're presenting a range because of the preliminary nature of the study at this point in time. There's a limited amount of information we have to develop the cost estimates. The approach here is typical State Highway Administration methodology for this conceptual phase of a project. So we incorporate major elements like structures or paving, and then we make some general assumptions about other costs that will flow through the project. The intent here is to provide a conservative estimate that acknowledges the risks and the unknowns at this stage of the project and incorporates those into the costs. The one thing I will note is that these estimates do not include right-of-way costs, because we don't have the information right now to make a good assessment of what those may be. We would say that we anticipate option 4 would have more right-of-way impact than option 1 would have. So that's the information that we had to share, the updates. Our next steps are to finalize our technical memo that summarizes all of the elements that were evaluated and analyzed as part of this effort, and submit that to county staff to complete the task. So happy to take any discussion or questions you might have.
Do you want to address any of the finances on how this works for the public? I mean, I know we talk grants in our meetings and where the study came from. You mind?
Yeah, well, yeah, we got a very nice grant from the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, BMC,
Right.
to initiate this study. This is a feasibility study to select an option that can be advanced for additional federal funding applications through state and federal highways, which we could, get as much as 80% of the funding for, for the crossing through federal sources. And we've met with SHA Administrator Pines, and he's certainly supportive of both options. We had a meeting with him just recently via Zoom. So the next step would be to advance this to the design phase and get more details ironed out. Cost obviously would be better defined in terms of which option would be selected, and then continue to move it forward. Everybody loves the project. We've been talking about it for a lot of years.
Right.
It's just a matter of getting the right option selected, preferred option, and advancing that forward to final design and then construction.
That was the whole end game, was the 80-20 split.
Yeah.
Similar to what we did on that boardwalk that you were just discussing. And, these projects are just, 24 years or 25 years trying to connect these 2 trails. And the most expensive piece is this, and, to get funding, help us with the funding portion of it, because it's a lot to bite off. And we'll probably end up doing it in phases with the crossing and, the Terrapin Park work, and then hooking the south side up. And so I don't think it's all gonna happen at one time. I'd love to see it all happen at one time, but I just don't think it's gonna happen that way. But, that's the game plan. I want to appreciate everything you guys have done, and a great job, really. I mean, the information and going back and having to deal with the changes and whatnot, but it's very informative, and
So
I
are you
appreciate it.
going to move forward presenting both options, or do we need to down select an option at some point so we can focus on that?
We're at the phase now. We're at the phase now where we need to select which option,
Yeah, okay.
and then they'll take it from there and start drill down on that. So, I'm going to make the motion for option number 1.
I'll second that.
Okay.
That's
Discussion?
fine. I think I'll sit on the sideline on this one for right now, because I think from a safety standpoint, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do this once.
Yeah.
We've gotta look at that crossing Route 8, that, I mean, I can't see putting another traffic signal on Route 8.
Well, no,
You want 1A is what you.
correct,
Yeah.
right. Because again, you know, I'm looking at the 80/20, and we've got some preliminary numbers for the Route 8 overpass. So, you know, I think that, that would be the way.
But I think we definitely gotta go 1A,
Yeah.
because we've gotta
Agree.
do that
I agree.
additional over, that.
I mean, the whole
additional
purpose we
crossover
did
on 8.
some of these trails that we've done is to get them away from the traffic.
Correct, that's what I'm
You know,
saying.
that's my
Crossing
only
Route 8 is not
concern.
an option on this.
My only concern on 4 is that we're going, you know, through neighborhoods, through businesses with bicycles, and I don't know, you know, it just, I guess I'm partial to the Terrapin Park. I'm partial to the fact that I don't know anywhere else in the state of Maryland where they have almost 2 miles where you'll be able to ride a bike or walk or jog along the Chesapeake Bay. I don't know. I can't think of that. I mean, that's a hell of a showpiece.
Plus, like to the point I was making earlier, that you're really teeing into the trail when you come across a
Correct.
country. Right, so it's not like you can start at Romacoke and go all the way to Graysonville.
Right.
With the option 1, you're starting at one end, you're not cutting off, you don't have to make a choice which way to go, you're just taking one big long loop, all the way down, so it just makes sense. If you're truly connecting them, that's connecting them, the other way's kinda, you know, you're dissecting it a little bit. So I agree, I think the 1A, creating that overpass, safe overpasses and all that stuff, and getting it closer to the bay, and as long as it doesn't affect the bridges.
Well, you know, and for that matter, I guess I'll change the option to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you
Yeah,
change
my
your
motion
motion.
to 1A.
And I'll second the amendment there.
There you go.
So I like that 1A too, because I like the idea of, you can see the bay, you can see the bridge. I mean, that's sort of, you know, a lot more of a scenic route. And with 4, where it cuts through, you know, overside where the school is, you already sort of have access to the trail. And that area, if you want to go to the library, you can jump in. But this really, I think, connects it. I like the way that 1 connects it a lot better.
Not only that, but crossing 18 there at the middle school is busy
Yeah.
during the day and on weekends with traffic. Jeff, would you be kind enough to clarify for our audience why Route 8 bridge won't work? Because I am getting questions on that. I know it's an engineering. I talked
Yeah.
to Stephen about it. If you could just clarify why.
Yeah, absolutely.
That won't.
There's 2 primary reasons. The first reason is going along Maryland 8, one of the assumptions here is that would only occur if the Maryland 8 overpass is reconstructed as part of MDTA's Bay Crossing study. The existing overpass is not wide enough to add a shared use path without having to narrow the existing lanes that are on the bridge. That's not something that SHA supports, narrowing the existing lanes. And even if you did narrow the lanes, you wouldn't be able to provide the type of separation between the shared use path and the lanes that you would want to do for safety.
And we had a presentation by State Highway. Did you see that, Patrick? I mean, it showed how they were gonna do it, and it was a death trap. I mean, it was, you know, you'd have to cross all those ramps. And it was just,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
We already have enough accidents
Oh,
on
man.
that.
And they're doing it now.
Right, yeah.
The
so-
kids are doing it now on their scooters.
So, you know, the thought was, unless you're gonna rebuild the Maryland 8 overpass and provide the correct width, typical section to support a shared use path in a safe way, that you weren't gonna consider a path along Maryland 8. And, you know, that means you're holding this project hostage to whatever MDTA does in the future, if they even reconstruct the Maryland 8 overpass. That's not guaranteed. That's not happening in all of their alternatives. So you don't know what alternative they're gonna pick. So that's undesirable. In addition, as we mentioned, if you look at a path along Maryland 8, and you look at the existing crossing of Maryland 8 north in Stevensville, you're talking about well over a mile where the path is along Maryland 8. That's really not consistent with the idea of a recreational trail, I mean, going along existing busy highway.
Right.
So it's not a very desirable route. I can tell you as a user of these trails, it would be the least favorite, everybody's least favorite part of the trail would be this section along Maryland 8. So there's multiple reasons from a safety point of view, from a fact that you don't know what MDTA is gonna do or if that overpass is even gonna be reconstructed, why option 2 is not something you wanna pursue.
Can you also clarify for option 1 that we're gonna pick? We're crossing Route 8. I'm looking at this and
Maybe
we're looking by
move
the
forward a couple
Kmart
slides.
parking lot.
No, it's not the Kmart.
No, it's closer to shore stop.
Yeah, so if you look here, this would the thought here is to try and cross in the vicinity of the northern terminus of the South Highland Trail today. So that's around Kent Manor Drive. We're showing the location, the crossing here just north of Kent Manor Drive. This is somewhat consistent with information that Commissioner Moran had shared about work that had previously been evaluated for a potential bridge crossing in this area. As we mentioned, this is a concept. I think anywhere in this location you could consider the crossing, but it would be down here. So if you had a grade separated crossing, I think you would have some flexibility to look, anywhere in between the Pier 1 Road, Thompson Creek Road intersection and the Kent Manor Drive intersection. Anywhere in there is where you could have a crossing.
All right, any more questions? So we have a motion to explore option 1A and a second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 1A.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes. Appreciate all the work in
Yeah.
the public outreach with the meetings. It was really helpful.
Thanks
A
for
lot of
helping
feedback.
us with grants.
Yes, happy to keep supporting you. Thank you.
Call us.
All the free money you can get will be appreciated.
All right, Commissioners, thank you both. We can move into new business for this evening. So if you want to turn to, well, first we have Public Works, tab 2. We have one item for Public Works. And, is Lee here? Yeah, Lee. So tab 2, item 1, pages 1 through 3. This is the Vincent Lot 19B subdivision plat. This is for the Board of Education Administration Building. As you know, we just built the new Board of Ed admin building on that center lot, which is about 7.3 acres. And they don't need that entire property for their facility and parking lot. So we've taken it upon ourselves to produce a subdivision plat that would subdivide off approximately, 2.5 acres for future use, other county facilities, buildings. This has received preliminary approval from the Centerville Planning Commission. So if you're happy with this, we can sign this and move that forward and get final approval from the Planning Commission. And then we'll have this 2 lots in the center section, one for the Board of Education facility and then one for future county uses and needs.
I move that the major subdivision plat, lot 19-B, the lands of the county commissioners of Queen Anne's County, be executed and recorded, thereby affecting the creation of one additional buildable lot.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There you go. The ayes have it.
All right, great job.
Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks for being here tonight. Yeah, great job. All right, continuing with new business, action items on tab 3. First up, we have Proclamation 2553, Bring Your Own Bag Month. And we have some brand-new reusable bags here for the citizens of Queen Anne's County. We have some folks here from Plastic Free QAC.
Watch your film.
Here's Phil.
Chris is going to do his Vanna White impression here now.
There we go. Get it in here. Get it in here. I can't see that.
Can you see that?
I gotta do everything around here.
All right, I'll read the proclamation.
Read the proclamation, I'll agree.
Yeah. Proclamation 25-53, whereas Queen Anne's County is committed to protecting and preserving the natural beauty of our land and waterways by reducing litter and single-use plastics. And whereas single-use plastic bags are a major source of waste and pollution, impacting wildlife, clogging waterways, and contributing to landfill volume. And whereas reusable bags provide a simple and effective alternative that helps reduce waste, Whereas the month of December marks the height of the holiday shopping season and provides an ideal opportunity to encourage residents to make environmental conscious choices. And whereas bringing reusable bags while shopping locally helps reduce single-use waste while supporting Queen Anne's County small businesses and strengthening our local economy. And whereas Queen Anne's County and Plastic Free Queen Anne's County continue their successful partnership in advancing sustainable initiatives building on the accomplishments of single-use both shrink wrap recycling program, which has diverted over 13 tons of plastic from our landfills since 2023. And whereas adopting the habit of using reusable bags promotes sustainability, environmental stewardship, and community pride. And whereas the county, in partnership with Plastic Free Queen Anne's, is launching a public education campaign to raise awareness and provide resources to help residents transition away from single-use bags. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, do hereby proclaim December 2025 as Bring Your Own Bag Month in Queen Anne's County and encourage all residents, visitors, and businesses to participate by bringing reusable bags when shopping, especially during the holiday season, and continue this environmental-friendly practice year-round. And thank you very much, Vanna White.
So you want to point out these bags are paid for not with taxpayer money, but.
Nope. So the funds that were used to purchase these bags and distribute at no cost to our citizens of Queen Anne's County and our businesses came from tipping fees from recycling, our transfer stations on the items that were recycled and turned in from those transfer stations and then sold. So it's a great program. The funding mechanism behind it was brilliant. And of course, obviously, our support of Plastic Free Queen Anne's County. As I said in the proclamation, they've been amazing partners. They came to us back in 2023 to initiate reducing the amount of shrink wrap that come off the boats and end up in our landfill. So that's also been just an amazing partnership with Queen Anne's Plastic Free. So, and we have some folks here from Plastic Free Queen Anne's County.
Good work.
So we look forward to continue working with you and partnering with you in this initiative. And this is just one step moving forward. Some of the places that these bags can be picked up, I need help. So the visitor center, our libraries, Beth?
Senior centers?
Senior centers. So,
Farmers Market at Colt Classic?
Yeah, they think they're doing small businesses, bring them some of these bags, and they love them.
so come and pick your bags up and
If you
use
can't
them.
find one, reach out to Plastic Free QAC. They will be happy to tell you where they are. And it also comes with a great map, Queen Anne's County here. So those folks who live in Kent Island, where I live, just to remind you, this is all Queen Anne's County also. Just so you folks know, it doesn't end at the bridge there. We got a lot more county.
There is no life east of the Kent Arrows.
And you want to give this to Plastic Free Queen Anne's.
Yep.
This is for you. She's coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's- woo,
You? Great, excellent.
Beautiful. Wow, have to frame it.
All right. All set? All right. Okay, Commissioners, item number 2 on pages 4 through 14. This is from Economic Development Commission. This is a bylaw revision, Resolution 2517, and they voted unanimously to amend their bylaws to include a code of conduct reflective of the character counts pillars. This code of conduct reflects high standards of character required by all members of the EDC as representatives in the business community of Queen Anne's County.
I move to approve the proposed amendments to Queen Anne's County Economic Development Commission bylaws for the adoption of Resolution 25-17.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Item 3 is for the Parks and Recreation. This is for
Somebody's
a...
got their Christmas list.
I was
Yes,
just gonna
yeah.
say, he
So we
couldn't
have,
go one more month. He just
Look, he's got the
couldn't do
gray
it.
beard. He's even looking like Santa now, right?
He's like, oh my gosh, this is their last meeting.
he
I
said-
can't get to the new year without buying
The
something.
naughty nice list. Parks has been nice.
That's
I
right.
don't see the wrapping paper and the bow on here anywhere in the estimates.
So we have Director Steve Shanley in our Parks and Recreation. So first, we have a 2025 Hitachi mini excavator purchase from Elliott in France, $84,415 under a pre-established government contract from Sourcewell. And this comes with 2 excavating buckets and supplements their existing 20-year-old mini excavator, so.
You might, sorry, go ahead.
I move to authorize the Department of Parks and Recreation to purchase one 2025 Hitachi mini excavator from Elliott and Franz in Jessup, Maryland for $84,415.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any questions?
Just a comment, you better watch the other departments, wait till they see this thing. They're gonna wanna borrow it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Scott, do you want a mini excavator? I just might. Okay.
I mean, this thing is nice.
As long as they're
This
willing
is
to
No,
let
you're asking
us
for a lot
share
more
as
than that.
well.
Don't even get any
Check
ideas
Santa's
about
list
that.
for Scott.
And you know, you must have got a deal on it, because that seems like a heck of a deal for something like
It was
this.
a good price. It was a good price.
It's Sourcewell, so.
Workswell Contracts, yeah. They do a good job, yeah.
All
How
right,
does a commissioner get checked out on it?
You want a training on it?
Yeah, I wanna get trained on
budget
it.
will cover us operating any heavy equipment.
Bill, it's easy, get a job.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next item, item 4, pages 19 and 20. This is the mowing contract for the years 2026 through 2028. Bids were broken down by regions and include various properties in each area. So funding for the contract is available for each divisional operating budget in the Parks divisions. So it's recommended to award contracts to the lowest bidders as follows: Kent Island Region to Magathy Landscapes for $87,520, and the Graysonville North County Region to Shipley's Lawn Care in the amount of $10,780.
I move to authorize the Department of Parks and Recreation to award the mowing contract to the lowest bidder for each region as follows. Kent Island Region to Magathy Landscapes LLC in the amount of $87,520. Graysonville and North County Region to Shipley's Lawn Care in the amount of $10,780.
Second.
We got a motion second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. And just as important as keeping our grass cut, we have our portable toilet bid for the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Solid Waste Division. So this is a bid for, again, 3 years, 2026 through 2028. And this will supply portable toilets to our parks and transfer stations. And it's recommended to award the bid to the low bidder, Pearson's Comfort Group, for a total of $183,855 for 3-year contract term. That's for all 3 years.
I move to authorize the Department of Parks and Recreation to award the portable toilet bid to the lowest bidder, Pearson's Comfort Group, in the amount of $183,855 for the next 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any questions or snarky comments? No, Phil? Nothing?
Nothing, just as a regular user of these at our parks, while umpiring, I appreciate the effort. Thank you, sir.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, Commissioners, item number 6 is on page 22. This is a request that came in from the Queen Anne's County Historical Society for funding support, and they are asking for support for critical exterior restoration work at Wright's Chance, $20,000, and $5,000 for the Tucker House, so $25,000 total.
I move to support the Queen Anne's County Historical Society for the restoration work for Wright's Chance in the amount of $20,000 and Tucker House in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Tyler Park.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work, Bob. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. You do a great job.
Keep it up.
Keeping the history intact in Queen Anne's County is really important.
Yeah.
We're 61 years old. It's done a good job. Thank you.
We appreciate all the work you do.
All right.
All right, moving on, number 7, item 7 on page 23. This is a, from the Clean Chesapeake Coalition. This is Chip McLeod Law Group. Contribution for administrative appeal to the Maryland Department of the Environment, and this is an invoice for $5,000 to make payment to Clean Chesapeake Coalition for contributions to the administrative appeal to the Maryland Department of the Environment's revised water quality certification for the Conowingo Dam relicensing. We do have a big
I'm gonna
meeting.
move to table this, because we have a meeting tomorrow at Mako that's gonna shed light on what this is actually gonna buy us, and I don't feel comfortable voting on it tonight until we have that information.
Makes sense.
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Just need a
Yep.
second.
All right,
I moved to table it, we didn't,
All you have to do is just table it.
Just table it.
as long as.
yeah,
it's
we'll just
consent.
table it, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
To be continued on that one, all right. Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 8 on pages 24 through 26, Human Resources revision to the meal and work break policy. At the request of some of our county managers, we've clarified the wording in the break policy via the Employee Communication and Morale Committee, directors, and our labor attorney. And this revision provides clarity so modifications to scheduled break times do not disrupt continuity within the work shift. So you can't extend your lunch break 15 minutes later because it would extend your workday into the next shift, mainly for shift workers. So it's just a clarification, kind of a housekeeping thing for break policies for lunch times.
I move to approve the revised Human Resources meal and work break policy to be effective in 7 business days.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item 9 is from the Department of Emergency Services. This is for the Motorola Vesta 911 phone system refresh. I guess it's a brand-new system. So Emergency Services is requesting approval to refresh the county's Motorola Vesta 911 phone system that was originally purchased through their vendor Carousel Industries. It's a sole source procurement, and it will be paid for via a grant from the 911 Numbers Board. Total cost is $2,205,470.90. And again, 100% grant funded through the 911 Board.
How often do you
Make a
upgrade?
motion.
I move to authorize the Director of the Department of Emergency Services to enter into an agreement with the Carousel Industries in amount not to exceed $2,205,470.90. Got to put the 90 cents on there, huh?
And I'll
For the
second.
refresh of the
Yeah, 90
Motorola
cents.
Vesta 911 phone system utilizing the Maryland Do It PBX4 contract. This project will be fully funded by the Maryland 911 Board.
Second.
All right, Phil seconds. Go ahead, Patrick.
So how often do you upgrade these? And because it's, first off, we're thrilled. That's great. I'm assuming you guys are too. And it's fully funded by the 911 Board. Do they dictate which company you have to work with? No. So you guys chose Carousel?
We chose Carousel. So basically, across the state of Maryland, there's 24 PSAPs, or 24 911 centers. 23 of them use Vestas 911 system. Queen Anne's County, with all of our adjacent counties, use a Vestas system, so it makes it much easier for us to transfer calls, receive calls, and if we get into emergency operations where we have to shut our center down and go to another one, we're
Right,
up
there's
at
compatibility
another
there.
one using the exact same system.
Meaning if you have to transfer to Talbot County because of some type of issue.
Yes.
What's the one holdout?
Baltimore County, I believe, is the one holdout. They
figures.
use a different system.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Any
so much,
opposed?
Commissioner.
That's a lot of mini excavators.
Oh, good to see you.
Good job on that.
It was Phil's job.
That's a great job getting that grant.
Great job.
Thank you, Phil.
So we do, and not for this meeting though, but I was talking to Phil at the thing. That's to, come back, or your next update, if you can, bring Phil back in and talk about the rates for this and how this is getting paid for and why there may be some lapses that may or may not be based on some conversations we had that,
There is a
Yeah.
lot of issues there. down the
well,
road.
I just don't want this to be another one that the counties are holding the bag, and this is not a small ticket item that has to happen every 3 years, so getting out in front of it now, before 3 years from now, I think is important. If the state's gonna fail us again, is all I'm saying. So,
Well, the good news is I'm the current chair of the 911 board.
that's only 1 year
So
though. So we make out
We've
good
got the
this
whole
year.
inside scoop, so-
We're good this year. But you know what I'm talking about, because sometimes they forget about things because they don't deal with them on a daily basis where we do, so.
But there is some future issues with the funding and how it's going to get distributed and potentially we would be put in a position that we have to consider increasing the 911
Right, that's,
phone service fee
Costs,
down
right.
around, which is something that we just did, which took us a year and a half to implement,
right.
thanks to the pressure that you applied to get it implemented.
But again, because it took that long, let's get out in front of it again if we know we're gonna have to do it again.
So, and the other good news is our finance director just got sworn in and is also a board member, also in the 911.
Good to know people. See, it's good to know people.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Queen Anne's is well represented.
good.
always.
In a lot of areas of state government. Yep.
Awesome.
And you're good with the new CAD person?
She has hit the ground running,
Sweet.
and
She was handpicked.
Tomorrow-
Come on.
tomorrow is her first full week of being in the position. So we have sat
The
down.
fire
met with
departments are
IT.
happy.
And I heard her new boss is
Fire-
horrible, wouldn't even let her go to the Christmas party and have some meatballs today because he was working her so hard, but I'm not gonna mention any names.
And they were actually,
I was just told who it was. I was like,
were neck deep in a.
that's what I heard, but man, you could have taken her some meatballs back or something.
and they're right down the street, they're over at the courthouse working today, so.
Tell her Phil's gonna give her off Christmas Eve.
Phil's gonna do what?
Appreciate it.
Commissioners, thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Yep, take care, you guys.
Happy holidays, guys.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, number 10.
Okay, number 10, item 10 on pages 43 through 47. This is a loan resolution for the town of Sudlersville, and this is really for USDA. It's kind of a housekeeping thing, but in connection with the takeover of the water and sewer facilities by the county, we are assuming that $5.5 million in debt incurred by the town with respect to its sewer and water operations. We did adopt a borrowing resolution, 2514, authorizing the issuance of bonds up to $5.5 million to be issued to replace the bonds from the town to USDA. So it's just a formality for the USDA's requirements.
I'll make the motion first. I move to adopt the loan resolution authorizing the refinance of bonded indebtedness of the town of Sudlersville to USDA in the original principal amount of $5,639,000 and the assumption of such debt by the county.
Second.
Todd, does this encompass the original plan upgrade and the extension to Barkley, or are they two
Yeah.
separate? So
It's
this
all-
has got everything into one now?
Everything all
Okay,
together.
very cool.
And all this gets paid back through their rates.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
eventually.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, eventually.
Well,
Yeah.
Take a while.
But to make sure that we've got them all as just one loan now, 'cause
Yeah.
I know there were several loans
Yeah.
floating around
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
all
Okay, good.
aggregated together.
Awesome.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right.
Good.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Item 11 is Resolution 2518 for 117 Howard Road, Stevensville, and this is a nuisance violation, high grass. So this is a lien that would be placed on this particular property for
Chris, where you live?
$395,
On
I
my
believe.
address.
Okay, just
Not
check.
Chris's house, no indeed. So just a nuisance violation for tall grass. Haven't had one of these for a while, actually.
I know you get busy.
And
and
make
don't
sure
cut
Kelly
the
cuts
grass.
that grass on time, so we won't have that problem.
I move to adopt Resolution 25-18 to place a lien on the property located at 117 Howard Road, Stevensville, Maryland, in the amount of $395.
Second.
Yeah, I think it's only-
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item 12 on page 53, this is Budget Amendment CC6 for the Sheriff's Office for equipment, and this increases budget authority by $126,000 for equipment under $5,000 with the sheriff. This is needed to update computers from Windows 10 to 11 so they can continue to receive all the security updates necessary with the new software packages.
I move to approve Budget Amendment CC6 for the Sheriff's Office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Motion carries. Desk item, number 13.
Okay, desk item number 1, Y River Oyster Program. This is a request for a $28,000 matching funds grant for the Y River Oyster Program. This is a community-based nonprofit group working to restore oyster populations on the bars in the Y River for the goal of improving water quality. The community did launch this program, and within 6 weeks after its founding this past May, with strong support, they planted 21 million spat on shell on 3 acres in this area, and they're looking to have another large planting next year in 2026 at a cost of $56,000. They did raise $28,000 on their own, so they're looking for some partners at this time to allow for that 2026 planting.
I'll make the motion, then I'll talk about this. I move to support the Wye River Oyster Program in the amount of $28,000 for their efforts in restoring oyster populations on the historic bars on the Wye River.
Second.
So, as you guys know, I sat on the oyster recovery, and, you know, the discussion was bars in Eastern Bay, bars and sanctuaries. Well, the Wye River basically is a sanctuary by DNR. These are just regular old residents that live there, some of them over 40 years, that has seen the decline of the water quality and the loss of crabs, fish, you know, you name it. And went out and said, look, we can research this and we can do this on our own, and they have been doing it on their own. So they raised $28,000, which is equivalent to doing 3 acres of spat-on shell. And they hit, I think it was 6 locations, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure there. But DNR is monitoring it. DNR is well aware of what's going on and has blessed the program. And I just think, for one, it's a sanctuary. We actually have a partner that's, doing their portion, just residents, and you can't ask for anything more grassroots than that. There's 30 acres to be done. 3 are done. We just funded another 3 acres worth. They would love to be able to do 6 acres a year. We'll see how the funding goes. And they're getting results. They've tested and pulled up some of the stuff that they planted when they first did this, and 2-inch oysters already. So they're making a difference. And I just think that this group here, with the amount of conservation we've done for our farmers, we could do the same thing with this. And, that's what I'm looking forward to, because, a lot of people say, well, there's sanctuary, you can't harvest them. No, you can't, but the Wye River is pushing out a lot of water and a lot of spat once these things get to full maturity. That's going where? Right into Eastern Bay. Building, so in Eastern Bay is where we want those oysters, and Eastern Bay is where they used to be, and if we can get them back there, there's going to be plenty for the watermen to do, and to bring back the fish and the crab, and, hopefully things will be better. But it all starts with the water quality, and I think this is a great idea, and I appreciate the, the vote that we're going to hopefully make here. So, anybody else got any?
I think there's a representative.
If I'm not mistaken, they had to actually.
No, he's, no.
Do you have questions?
Oh, yeah, come on up. I'm sorry. Yeah. Did I get it right?
Absolutely.
Okay, if you want to add anything to that, and
Can you share with us?
go ahead and tell everybody your name and where you live. and-
Bruce Abel, I live on the Y, down Baker's Lane. And I've lived there 47 years. And I and other residents have seen the Y degrade. It's not what it used to be. It's not the crabs, it's not the water clarity, it's not the water quality. So we've kind of gotten together and did a grassroots, a lot of talking in the community. And like the commissioner was saying, in 6 weeks, we started this in May of 2025. Within 6 weeks, we had enough money to plant a barge, which was 21 million oysters, spat on shell. And so we're continuing that, and we're now gearing up for 2026. So we have commitments and money for half the barge of roughly $56,000. So that's what we're asking the county to do, is to kind of partner with us, to address the water quality in the Wye River. The community is engaged, and the community is further engaging. We're getting more and more of the community involved each week. So it's a great grassroots program.
Very good.
What kind of barge did you use?
I'm sorry?
What kind of barge?
Barge?
Barge.
The barge.
What'd you put the oysters on?
So we contract with Seed to Shuck Ventures. They're out of Hooper's Island. They're fully vertical, so they grow their spat. They put it on a barge and then that they own, and then bring it up from Hooper's Island and plant it. It's the same company that's doing work for the DNR. so they're very reputable. DNR has them planning in Eastern Bay and other areas.
And how many spat on a shell when they check it?
So
They want a certain,
we contract for 15 million on a barge, spat on shell. Last year, we had a phenomenal spat set, so we actually got 21 million out of the barge or the spat set.
but normally it's equivalent to how many on a shell?
Oh, well, it's about 10 spat on a shell.
Yeah.
Okay, and last year we ended up getting around 20 spat on a shell. So that's when the spat would attach to the shell, and that's what was planted. So we did 21 million on 3 acres last year.
So I know,
Jack had a question.
So I'm a huge proponent of this and have always supported the oyster programs, but in my work with the watermen, the one thing that I take, I guess, exception to is the fact that, and Jim called them farms, and he's 100% correct, but a farm has to be planted and harvested. That's the only way it will regenerate. We've got over 33,000 acres in the bay right now that's dead oyster shell because we never did anything with it. So I'm all for doing this, but I would like to see you work with the watermen and do a harvesting program where you rotate the 3-year cycles to keep it fresh, because they've proven, not the NR science, because we can look at the bay, they've done a great job, but the science of the fact that as you turn it over, the oysters become healthier and they do even better job of filtering the water that they're in. And it also supports the local watermen. Plus, we grow spat and all right here in Queen Anne's County as well for distribution. Just for future, right at Harris's Crab House they do it. Because that's who does, for the watermen, does the Eastern Bay. They seed the East Bay.
and to your point, it's not just taking them out, it could just be bringing them up off the top, off the bottom of the sill.
Well, it's turning the
to
shells,
let
it's
them-
the same thing as turning a field over. It keeps it, you know, it's just like bringing the nutrients back up. It's a proven, I mean, they've been doing it in the East Bay for 12 years now, and it's every 3 years they go out and have great harvest, right there in the East Bay. And it's a generational thing that helps the local economy, and it also keeps the waterways clean, so.
Because if you don't, the oysters just die.
They'll die, they will die. They'll silt over and die eventually.
Go ahead.
But,
Well,
yeah.
I guess you could argue that with the DNR, because the DNR is also seeding the Wye River, and they've got great results from that. They've got their fall oyster survey, I guess you've read that too, and it disputes that.
I would recommend going back and looking at the other places that they've done and the history of them. Just trust me, there's a long history of what the NR has done in terms of these sanctuaries that have failed, that's all. With their way of doing it, that's all I'm saying.
But
And I would engage with some watermen and talk to them.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but DNR has put it as the Wye River sanctuary only, is that correct? Sanctuary only?
It's
No harvesting?
sanctuary only.
Yeah, so that's not really him.
No, I know, it's something
Yeah.
we'd have to go to the state and
Yeah,
fight,
yeah.
but if we're gonna spend the money to seed them, I would like to see us do it the right way so that we get the results that we're seeing in the East Bay, honestly. That's all.
So when's the next time you're planning more?
We hope to plan in the spring.
Will you invite us? Will you invite us?
I've been on it, it's an incredible.
I'd love to
You
see
go out
it.
and do it, you sit out there and watch it, it's pretty incredible, it's quick too. They could put a lot of shell down really fast with a fire hose, so.
Awesome.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstains?
Abstain.
1 abstain?
2 abstains.
2 abstain, 3 in favor, motion carries.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you. That is all of the action items for tonight. So we can move on to press and public comment. Is anybody left? Nothing?
Anybody left?
I will mention that we did get a message already from SHA about an earlier
Oh, really?
comment that was made about the safety out here on 304
Yeah.
at 481. Bob Reger, you know, their PR guy, so he's a fan. He's one of our best viewers. Out there still, Bob, thank you so much. He's already
Our
said
viewer.
he will pass on those concerns to District 2 Engineer Ken Fender right away.
Thank
So that's great news.
That's all for me. Yeah.
I'm glad that we have Bob and my mom watching the show, so that's good. We got 2 viewers. All righty, round table. I will start first.
I was just gonna say Merry Christmas, so
Well, I was gonna start first, and so for my Merry Christmas, I would like to make a motion that we do Christmas Eve of December 24th, 2025, as a holiday for the county employees.
Second.
I'll second it.
Was that your stomach?
What was that noise?
Feedback.
It was the masses out in the parking lot cheering, right?
All right. County staff works really, really hard, and this was a suggestion from the Employee Morale Committee, and it gets them to be able to go and start celebrating the holiday a little bit sooner with their family. It's a slow day, frankly, in the county offices to begin with. No one's really rushing to go and pay their property taxes for that last-minute Christmas gift. So I think we'll be able to make it by on that basis. That's the motion. We got a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Jack.
Commissioners. Thank you very
Merry
much.
Christmas.
On behalf of all the staff. Thank you.
Happy New Year, that's right.
I want to apologize.
Excluding Todd Mahan.
So I wanted to apologize to Beth because she'd worked so hard in getting this press release ready, which she is going to send out now that the proclamation has been read. But I'm going to go ahead and take my roundtable time and say that to help the residents transition to reusable options, 10,000 reusable bags have been produced and will be available to the public at the following locations beginning in December: Queen Anne's County Library, the Centerville branch, and the Kent Island branch, and the mobile library; Chesapeake Heritage and Visitor Center; Queen Anne's County Chamber of Commerce office, which is located on Postal Road; senior centers in Kent Island, Graysonville, and Sudlersville; Queen Anne's County Active Aging Center; and the Queen Anne's County Vincent Building lobby. So get out there, get your bags, use them, and we do appreciate your support on this initiative. And that's all I have. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Patrick.
Top that.
We're heading to Mako for the rest of the week, and Jack is probably thrilled that his presidential run is over. We appreciate all your work on that hard stuff. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's next week, and a child is born in a manger, our Savior.
Batter up. Okay, want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. This is our only meeting for December, correct? So we won't be back till after the new year. And I just you know, I've been thinking about it, and it's been a busy week, and next week's going to be just as busy for us all, I think, also. But just some of the things that I'm thankful for, and this group works well together. And for 12 years, this is finishing my 12th year. The next meeting will be the beginning of my 13th year that I've been here. And I can say that there's a lot of things that go on in Queen Anne's County that are just, you know, humbling. As we know, that we celebrate the Christmas dinner at our senior centers, and we've been doing that for 6, 7, 8 years.
At least eight.
Yeah, at least 8. And packed house, sold out in 2 days. You know, I gotta believe that's from, you know, Chris. Maybe he's promising something I don't know, but
Whatever it takes.
you know, that's whatever it takes. But also the fact that Sunday I narrated my second Queen Anne's County Chorale, and it was a Christmas show, and it was packed. And let me tell you something, they can make it happen. I mean, I was totally impressed. I mean, I'm sitting up on the stage with them, and I just want to say to Mr. Allen Sr., Godspeed. He fell and broke his hip. His son was in there singing, you know, and he's out of surgery. He's doing good, but it's a great organization. And if you have the time, the next one's in May, but definitely Christmas, you got to go to see it. It just is, I mean, they can take the roof right off. So I'm appreciative of that, and just what we've accomplished. I mean, if you look back at some of the things that we've accomplished this year, AAA bond rating, you know, we've got the Board of Ed building done, we're paving, all of our infrastructure utilities, I think, are in great condition. You know, we've got turf fields for all of our kids. You know, we're trying to get a rec center for our kids. You know, we've got another junior high coming up, a animal shelter. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And we're doing it all without raising property taxes or the piggyback tax. So, you know, that's what I'm thankful for, and I'm looking forward to the new year and keeping us rolling, so.
Amen.
Amen to that.
There we go. Big boy.
Motion adjourned?
Last motion of the year.
Second.
Adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.